What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fantasy Football Power Hour. My name is Andy Blake, and I kind of wanted to do a little introduction for everybody, just my upbringing with fantasy football, who I am as a person, and just kind of how I started podcasting and playing a game of fantasy football. It all started in 1999. I was 8 years old. I was with my uncle. He had a draft at work, and we ended up having the 1-1, and we took Marshall Falk that year. And Marshall Falk that year, 1,000 rush yards, 1,000 receiving yards, which, I mean, is even rare today. So back in 99, just shows you how special of a player Marshall Falk was. And I actually have a plaque behind me, the game used football I got for Christmas as a kid. But, Marshall really ended up just making me love this game. My uncle, it's just like kind of a whirlwind of things. Some of the other guys that were on that team, Brian Greasy, Rod Smith, Brian Greasy quarterback. He was with the Miami Dolphins. Rod Smith was a wide receiver for the Denver Broncos. Jimmy Smith, wide receiver for the Jaguars. All solid guys. And then Marcus Pollard. These are just a couple of the names that I could remember. Marcus Pollard was a tight end for the Colts at the time. So also, you just like you didn't have any of this like new advanced stuff where you had the red zone, you had all these streaming services. So my cousin and I would get on NFL.com and we would pull up the games that the offense would have the ball and just keep refreshing on this old desktop and just to get stats. I mean, it's just crazy how far this game has evolved. Like how much information's out there, how many different games you can watch. It's unbelievable. So it kind of makes you chuckle and just go back and just understand, like, you love the game so much and you went through all of this just to maybe get some stats or get excited about your players and what they were doing. So, and that's another thing. There was no sleeper. This was all pen and paper where you had to write down, what was going on. Like, and of course, defenses were your regular or 2 points for a sack and a forced fumble and stuff like that. But like, you really went through and had to, check everything. And obviously, we had a commissioner that would double check everything. But yeah, it's just unbelievable how far this has all came. Uh, so my next thing that kind of happened in life was sports trading cards. So in 2000, it's actually when I started collecting them. Good year to collect them too, right? Tom Brady's rookie year. I can remember my grandma taking me down to the local Kmart, and I would get a pack or two of Don Russ. They were $3 or $4 a time, which were actually somewhat expensive. And looking at them now, I just looked on eBay. A pack of Don Russ, $75. $75 for one regular pack of Don Russ trading cards, which obviously we didn't know Tom Brady was who he ended up being. And I didn't pull a Tom Brady rookie card. Ended up, yes, I had to buy one if I wanted one, and ended up ponying up, and I did buy one, but like, just would have been nice to pull one. And maybe I did, because all of our friends, we all used to trade them. And as a Steelers fan, I couldn't stand Tom Brady, and I definitely didn't want his card. So, uh, going back, that was probably for the next 10 years. I just kept getting these cards, learning the players' names. Of course, I was really into it. Big Ben came into town for the Steelers, trying to pull his rookie card. I know my dad for Christmas got me a Ben Roethlisberger patch card. So something that I still have to this day. I'd never get rid of it, but just something fun to go back and see. So between this time as well, my grandfather, I had no idea at the time, was actually a local bookie. Didn't even know what that was. Wasn't called that, of course. And he would have these football picks, and I can say this now. Both my grandparents are gone, but You would pick 3 teams, and 4 teams there was a bonus. So I was always in there, and he would pay for me to play, and I'd pick random teams. Of course, I didn't completely understand um, just even who would win. So, but he always let me play that, and sometimes I'm sure they let me win, saying that I won. And they did this for college teams as well. So in these, there wasn't money lines; it was spreads. This is something I do remember. So you had to pick. It wasn't just straight up. It was if it was 3.5, you took 3.5. I mean, there was no, and I did stay there. Now, like I still play obviously on different sites, and spreads are always changing and odds and everything, but it was pretty strict and it was right away. So it was something that, being at the age I was, like 8, 9, 10 years old, and doing this, it just how much fun I had just seeing the enjoyment out of my family. Of course, my uncles, everybody playing as well, and being a part of that. My cousin, of course, he played as well too. Just shows you how much of football was just kind of instilled almost, it felt like, and in a good way. It wasn't anything that was forced upon. And, just going back, just put the smile on my face, just thinking of this. Before this introduction, I used to even talk to my wife about all this. Like, I don't know if anybody's even listened. You'd be interested in hearing this. But, I hope you are. And there's definitely more to come. So, uh, my grandpa he did pass away in 2004. So it's just something special to me, a very sad moment in my life. And, I can remember even him getting me, I hated clothes. Like, how ungrateful do I sound? But when I was younger, I think all kids hate clothes. He got me a shoebox, and I thought, of course, there were shoes in it. And it wasn't. It was full of video games. And at that, it was Madden, NFL 2K, all that kind of stuff. So it it's just funny how that is. And my next thing is just me being, I'm a Western Pennsylvania born and raised guy, and my family, of course, between all this, we're big Steelers fans. And being a Steelers fan, we went through Bill Cowher, of course, Cordell, and the great times of Terry Bradshaw before I was born. But I can remember Cordell Stewart. I can remember the Steelers, just even their drafts. Like, I can go on with my cousin, and we would watch just Big Ben. I can remember Big Ben getting drafted, Heath Miller, Troy Polamalu, a couple of the ones. I can remember Santonio Holmes getting drafted, and just how excited we were because, like, we would watch the draft, and the Steelers never really traded up. Of course, they did for like Santonio Holmes, but like waiting and waiting, and then of course we were saying, "Oh, this player is going to be great," and a lot of them ended up being great, not all of them, but it was just a special time that I'll always remember with my cousin TJ doing that. And we had so much fun, man. I mean, we just literally, we couldn't wait. We didn't care about any other round, just the first round, of course. But that was always kind of something that I looked forward to in the NFL draft. I've met a lot of Steelers. I'm pretty lucky to say that, man. I been to some training camps and met guys like Joey Porter, and I'm talking old Joey Porter, not new Joey Porter. Hines Ward, met Chris Fatumafala, Amos Zaraway. Them are some names that maybe some of you guys can remember, like way back in the day, 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. Getting pictures with a couple of them guys. I met Byron Leftwich, and that was the year that he had to play the first couple games. So Marquise Pouncey, another one, met him, and it was actually his rookie year. And just all really, really good guys. Of course, I was a kid, younger. They were all very, very nice, and it's just cool to meet them because, like, you're small and looking up to these guys. Are huge. I remember seeing Flozell Adams walk out. My God, just looked like a walking building. Even Daniel Sepulveda ripped out of his mind. Wow, he's a punter. He's huge. So I'm going to go to some of the redraft aspect. So I played fantasy football on and off through these times. Officially in 2009, we started a league that goes on today. Shout out to my boy Muscles, first name on the trophy. So 2009, Muscles Monsters is on the trophy. It's actually sitting behind me. If you're listening, Jake, I need to get that to you because you ended up beating me this year. Me and my buddy Jake got to the final game there, and he ended up winning. But it's a complete standard league: one quarterback, two running back, two receiver, one tight end, a kicker, and defense. We have not changed this since 2009, so as old school as it can get. And we've thought about, oh, if we had a flex, oh, we won't with that one. You just want to keep it that way. And we do have other dynasty leagues we started with, my dad and uncles and everything like that. So they can kind of get a taste of the super flex, the tight end premium, PPR, all that good stuff. And dynasty is something that I want to really talk about. So we brought this idea of dynasty in 2016, 2017. We officially started a league. And again, my boy Muscles. So he was the first one to actually start the league, kind of get everybody together and, try it and kind of see what happens. So he got together with some of his co-workers at a Verizon store that he worked at. And of course, some of my family got in. And I can remember that year Todd Gurley was my first pick in the first round. So yeah, a year or two of him, and then the picks really started to matter, and that's where it got fun for me. I love grinding. I love grinding film, learning about these prospects, and I kind of feel like I became pretty good at it so far. I've had a pretty good track record, and not to my own horn, you're never going to get everybody right, but this is probably one of my favorite parts of the game. Of course, you want to win, but really loving that rebuild mode. So just that feeling of being a GM and making trades with your other league mates, like it got to the like we were on the phone with one another, be like, let me think about it, I'll call you back. You call back with a counter. It truly felt like a GM. That was one of my favorite aspects about it, and obviously getting older with life and everything, it's hard to play that way, right? Like you have all these different stuff on Sleeper. I've never played on MFL, to be honest, but like Sleeper, you can be interested in a player. It's easy to reach out and message people, and I mean it is a good thing. But that was always some memories that I remember first playing. Draft picks and rookies are just it just brings an aspect to the game of, like, I think doing your homework paying off, or maybe listen to somebody like me or somebody else that you might be interested in listening to that does give good information, because there's definitely some ones out there that are iffy, but I will always try to be transparent and give my honest opinion. So then it became showtime. It just felt like Dynasty was so good to me starting out that it just still wasn't enough. I felt like I needed to do more. And, we ended up starting a show in July of 2022 called Dynasty DNA. It was created with two of my cousins, TJ and Ty. And again, that name you're going to hear, and I'm sure you'll hear him on the show sometime, Muscles. So all four of us started this show. We had talked about it for years. Just, we'd love to do a podcast. Finally, TJ bought the equipment, and we ended up starting it up, and we ended up doing it. So, I created show ideas on what I wanted to hear some of the other podcasting universe start. There's definitely some great shows out there, but there's certain things that I didn't hear people talk about that I kind of wanted to touch on and talk about, or if I heard somebody else talk about it, I wanted to give my opinion. So I felt like we really needed to do this, and that's exactly what we did, and it's still going on today. Since starting the show, we've had some success. I mean, Dynasty DNA is sponsored by Dabble, Underdog, BetStamp. So we've had some bigger guys that reached out, and you might have heard me on there before. So it's been a complete blessing, and just to spend that time with everybody as well. So I created this show, the Fantasy Football Power Hour, in 2023, yes. So it was made for Dynasty Redraft help type of show. Mainly seasonal only. You can go back and listen to some episodes that won't be on this channel. They're out in the podcasting universe somewhere, but I didn't bring it back in 2024 just because my wife and I became parents. So it was really hard to do two shows and to give my all. I'm not going to come on here and just feed you some stuff. I really do want to give it my all for everybody. And, now being parents and kind of getting acclimated to this and getting our lives together, our son just turned 8 months old. So getting used to being a parent, because to me, being a husband and being a parent is my number one goal. It's what I, strive to do in life. And this is my, probably my next favorite thing. So now I think we're good to go, and I want to bring the show back full time. Actually, talking to an idol of mine, and Matt Kelly, the Podfather from Player Profiler. And if you're watching this, up in the corner, you see the Fast Draft symbol. Yes, Fast Draft. This is awesome. I mean, for Matt to reach out, it's really really excited, just honored, and really, I'm just gonna talk about all kinds of different stuff on this show. Show is sponsored by Fast Draft. If you're not on Fast Draft, you need to get on, because they will match you up to $25 if you're a first-time depositor. Use the code POWER. Using that code POWER, get in some of these drafts early, man. Definitely. I mean, so you put $25 in, they're going to match you $25, $50. You can really do a lot with that. They got a new thing out in Origins where it's rookies only. And I definitely know we can get an advantage from there. And I really think there's quite some advantages in ADP right now getting on Fast Draft. So use that promo code, again, POWER. If you're a first-time depositor, they will match you $25. Also, if you don't want to be like me and use a pen and paper for stats like I used to, and I even do some of my rookie scouting that way too. So if you don't want to do that, go on Player Profiler. You can get the all-in package, $25 off, again with that promo code POWER. So it's a great place, guys. There's so much information, ADPs. Like, I love getting on there, just kind of see, like, where players are at. Can I project somebody to go up, down, and just the amazing metrics that they do over there. They do such good work. I'm somebody who loves to promote stuff that I truly believe in, and I might be a film guy, but I love to see analytics back up the film. So again, use a promo code POWER for that as well. On the all-in package, you get $25 off. So this is kind of where I'm at in life, guys. I am going to be bringing you different shows. So something that I want to talk about real quick. I want to be transparent with everybody. Make sure my listeners are satisfied. Come out with a smile on your face. As I get older, things are happening, and it's just important to smile. It's important to put your best foot forward. And I'm a competitive guy as well. I love to win. I mean, I hate losing, and I just want to make sure that I give vitalized, good information on what I see, and we can smile together, we can laugh together, we can talk about some memories. So that's kind of it for this show. There's a lot of sharp minds out there, and we need to make sure we find a competitive edge. I mean, from where it was before, like I said, fantasy football, especially dynasty fantasy football, has really changed so much, and there's such good information out there that we need to find that edge. And I believe, listening to this show, I'm gonna provide that. I'm gonna try to give you guys the best edge, and not just be consensus, but not be crazy here either. I think that's important. It's okay to be different. Now, in a good way. We don't want to be different and say somebody's just bad whenever they're not, or we want to be honest. We want to be transparent. So some of the stuff, Dynasty Best Ball rankings in season. I like to give my rankings in season. And I'm going to try to find a way to upload some of these shows to this new channel as well. They will be old shows, but we'll see what we can do if I can get them up. I appreciate all 5 stars. It just really helps the algorithm. Other than that, I whatever. But I really want to try to reach a bunch of different players out there and just get this show going. And I just I appreciate all the love. If you did hear me on the Dynasty DNA show, love you all. Appreciate all the love you guys gave for me for the years. And you can follow me on Twitter at FFA Train. I'm also on Blue Skies now, FF Andy Blake. So give me a follow over there. I'm going to be posting everything on X and Blue Skies. And on the next episode, we're going to go over 8 different quarterbacks that I've watched film on. I want to talk about if there's any value guys or, my opinion on how they looked. I think it's been out there. It's been somewhat of a weak class. So I will give you my opinion on some of these big guys like Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, and how I feel about the riser that's been of late, Jackson Dart. So I appreciate all the love, guys, and that'll be the next episode. Thank you for tuning in for this introduction, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Fantasy Football Power Hour.